Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Life Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here.
Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media, and you're tuning in to the Bite-Sized Business live show where we help small business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business. And today I'm joined by Ash Griffin. She is the founder and CEO of The Happy Therapist. Thanks so much for joining me today, Ash. I'm really excited to talk to you about this big topic we've got planned. How are you going?
Thank you so much for having me. It's always great to be in this seat talking to you, Kylie.
Awesome. So today our topic is how can we prepare our business for, not how can we prepare us. If we start again, I was bamboozled for a moment then.
This happened last time.
I think you get me all excited and like, woo, overcome. And I just want to chat without a structure. So let's talk about our topic today, which is preparing your business for the holidays. And I think it's such an important one as it's Cyber Monday. And I don't know about you, Ash, but my inbox, well, at least for the last week, has just been, I would say, bombarded and smashed. And then come Friday morning, it just got even crazier. Saturday morning, it got even crazier because of everybody in the US joining the, I was going to say Good Friday, Black Friday, and then all weekend. And then today, it's just been extraordinary. What about you? Have you been overwhelmed with what's been coming at you?
I have, and I totally forgot about the Cyber Monday thing until you've just said, which completely makes sense now because I was in a message thread with someone who was helping me out with a gift for my husband. And so I bought it because he's like, this is a really good price, get it, and then the next day he's like, oh, the price is even better, get it now because of the whole US thing, Damn it. So
it's so much, isn't it? So much. So really, it's a very exciting time from now for the next few weeks for all businesses, not just product-based, but obviously service-based. I did for my special deal, I did a 90-minute one-on-one session, but when you buy it over the 4 days, then you get one extra one free. So that was a crazy day on Friday. Boom, 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 with me being emailed, not with cha-ching of people checking out and buying it, with Kylie, the link doesn't work.
Oh, no.
Yes, it had a preview link rather than the actual link. Some people still were able to navigate and find it, but a lot of people could not. So that was a big no-no. I didn't send a preview to my team to say, can you check this? I just got it out there. But really important that we remember that not just products, but also services, coaching, all of those things can do special offers. So as we prepare for Christmas, it's not just about thinking, how can we really maximize this time of year and get as many sales and clients and all that kind of thing going to round up the end of our year, but also what can we do for ourselves personally, Ash, as business owners?
Yeah, I think it is definitely a time where overwhelm kicks in, and like you said, it's the busyness of us giving out services or specials and sales and whatnot, which you can be inundated with, as you've experienced. But yeah, really, really important that this time of year, I think it's super important just to tap into what we experience in the heightened sensation outside and the expectations of what we think we should be doing, as opposed to when Christmas actually comes, it's like, oh, that was it. Was all that overwhelm worth it?
Absolutely. I also think it's important to mention too that I actually have received a couple of messages from people saying, well, not just to me, but to everyone saying, this is not a Black Friday special. Don't expect one from me because I don't like it and I don't believe in it. And I thought that's another thing too, is that the pressure on people to be discounting, and therefore that doesn't always, especially if you're a handmade business or like services where it's your time. And if you're discounting that, that's challenging. So one thing that I really encourage, which is what I did myself, is not a discount. It's well, actually, no, I didn't this time, but normally I do. It's actually a value add. So instead of discounting something, you're putting something extra in.
Yeah. So like
that awful feeling.
And like you bring a friend for free, or, do things like that, which we've done in the past as well together. So things like that work for sure. And it's interesting you brought up the small business and there was one thing with the Black Friday, and someone had complained about, are you really putting pressure? Not to me, just out there on Facebook. Do we really need this extra pressure of buying, and what other stuff do we really need? And a small beekeeper up here did say, well, yeah, we can't put our prices down and still be able to pay all of our workers and the beekeepers, because the other big companies can afford just to go half price. So there's a lot of conflict there, where I just still think you shop local and support your local small businesses as opposed to the big, because they're the ones that we can thrive, but also really suffer when deals like that come up.
Absolutely. And so again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the discount. It can be something special. So, for example, come in store, and if you buy over these 4 days, we'll give you a lovely bag to go with it, or, whatever, you know what I mean, like the cloth shopping bag or something. Yeah. So the value add rather than the discount, which can be very challenging. Half. I've even seen some up to 70%, which is just... You've got to wonder what kind of margins they're working with then, if that's even possible to do, my word, and sustain it. I've seen businesses that were still offering new deals even throughout the day today.
Yeah, right.
The people that have bought on Friday, they're all messaging going, I'm in different Facebook groups and stuff, and they're going, I'm going to have to shop again today then. What did I miss out on? I was like, you don't have to. So how about so once we've got through all of this time, in the next couple of weeks or few weeks, which is just a bit of a frenzy, why do you think that it's so important that like you just said, before we get to Christmas Day and we're like, so how can we make sure that we're actually going to be able to stop, and why do you think that's so important, Ash?
I think it's so important just to recenter so that you don't lose puff. Okay, I think we can go.
Saying it.
I think we can just go gung-ho, overwhelmed. We're either run off our feet trying to do business, kids, the outside world, and then we fall apart. So in order to avoid the falling apart, I highly recommend just, even on a toilet break, just allow yourself just that extra 2 or 3 minutes to do some breath work, or to recenter, or just to call a friend and tell them that you're grateful for them, anything that lifts you up again. So if it recenters you and your breathing, then you'll feel energized and inspired to go on with the rest of your day. If you're making a phone call and anything around gratitude, overwhelm, fear and anger cannot exist in the same space as what gratitude lives in. So that's really, really important. Any overwhelm, go to gratitude and it goes. So it just recenters, realigns you, and then you can move on. So I do suggest little bursts in your day because you have to go to the toilet, right? Or you might get up and make a cup of tea, or just there are little times where we can use just a few moments to regroup, a stretch, even stretching your body, like Halo has a ball out there, as you know, and a fit ball. And I just lie back, have a little stretch, and it just feels like you've opened up, you've reset, and then you're like, okay, some blood went to the head, I'm ready to go. So I know people that jump in ice baths just for 3 minutes and they're good.
In the middle of the day, there you go.
In the middle of the day. So, breathing, exercising, stretch, gratitude, they're all little things that you can do that make a difference to your day.
I love that so much. I really do. I used to have my office in a different place, or in our garage, when I was running a different business. And I used to have to get up regularly and do bits, it was e-commerce. So checking orders, that I had a team in there working, little busy bees, getting stuff ready, and they'd ask questions or whatever. And what I used to do is that every time I'd go back to my chair, I had to do 10 squats before I was allowed to sit down. That was no. I thought it was so good. So clearly I should be incorporating that into my office here.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So I know my husband, sometimes I'll be like, what's that huffy puffy noise? And he's down there doing some push-ups.
Oh, good on him. That's great. So it's about finding little things to help you through the day that changes your headspace.
I might start some Facebook Live, shall I? And just randomly go, okay, guys, this is the group we're doing.
I think that's so wonderful. I'm sure I told you about that amazing woman who does the 2-minute moves, and she does them live on Instagram, and they're so good. I found her or met her at Social Media Marketing World because she got up and did 2-minute moves at the whole conference. It was just incredible. Yeah, it's really possible. It was like put your leg up on your chair and bend, and it wasn't about having to go and find a great space. It was just you're in your office, let's move. So good.
Yeah, movement is essential. The movement creates energy, and your energy creates emotion. So if we are stagnant a lot of the time, we go further and further in ourselves, which is where the overwhelm forms, and then we feel stuck in this space because we haven't created this space.
Yes, I love that, especially with people sitting at that computer. It's very much that positioning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
we get smaller and smaller and stiffer, and then we're restricted in what we feel we can do. Whereas, like you said, you can actually just have a little stretch with your leg up and fold forward. Whereas by the time you've restricted yourself in body and mind and thinking, I can't even take a break because I've got to get this done, your rules go out the window. Because like Camo, my husband, for example, will say, oh, but you can have a lunch break, like that's our ongoing thing. And he's like, no. And then when he finally does go for a surf, he takes like half a day for a surf because he just thinks that he's broken his lunch rules.
Yeah.
Whereas if he just goes for an hour every day, it would still work for him and pick him up.
Yes, wouldn't it just? I love the idea of even half an hour a day to just leave the office.
15 minutes, yeah. But when we go into that stuck space, we do get stuck in thinking, well, I can't go for a half hour, I can't go for a 15-minute. But you don't need that. You just need a 2-minute of something.
I love that, Ash. And one thing I have to say, I'm not sure when it was, but sometime much earlier this year, I got my stand-up desk, and it has made a huge difference. I don't even necessarily spend that much time up each day, but I certainly make myself a few times a day. I like, for example, every time I do bite size, I'm now standing. And It's good. It gets me moving a little bit. Sometimes I have some great shoes on that are, good for, whatever you call that. Other times I stand on a little thing, And sometimes I'm just barefoot and have a little wriggle around.
Yeah.
So I find that just really good, just to get that change. And like you said, when everything's stagnant, that's also not going to be helping your brain either.
Totally. And you've just given me, I'm always barefoot. So, like I'll often just nip out, Woolies, anywhere, I'll go barefoot.
So Byron, Ash.
Cameron went through Spain barefoot. And he got so many looks. I think we're just barefoot people. But what you've given me, my dad under his desk, because he's at the computer all the time writing books, has like a roller for his feet.
Nice.
They're a good idea too, because you're getting circulation, down there happening. And I think they've got little spikes, and it's a nice little massage for him too. So,
very nice.
Nice handy ways of doing that. And also I think when we get overwhelmed, if you want to bring it back to the mind, if you connect and prime yourself for the day, but even throughout the day when you feel like overwhelm's taking over, bring it back to what you want to achieve that day, what outcome you want. And also do the hard stuff or the stuff you don't want to do first.
Oh, I can't agree with that more. And this wonderful book, you and I both have one each. Jenny made them up for us at her retreat a few months ago. The Do First checklist. I love it. So I don't do it on a daily. I do it on a weekly. And unfortunately, so often there's things that I always change out don't do or discard for actually today now. So, but when there's still things left sitting in today now, and they're not things that can be delegated, then they go for first thing tomorrow morning. And I notice they're always the things that are the hardest for me to deal with that I just put off and put off and put off. So you're right. That's a great remember. Thank you. They have to be done in the morning.
Yeah, and it's also telling your subconscious mind like that goal's been achieved. And it was the hardest goal or the one thing that was like more challenging to overcome. So it sets your mind up for the rest of the day. Anything's possible.
Yes, that's so good. Success. My mum taught me this years ago, that it's so important to have a to-do list to tick, because the ticking makes you know you've achieved. And one thing that I do sometimes is if I forgot to put it on my to-do list, and I've done it, I'll go back and put it on anyway, and then just so that I can have that process of the tick.
So the tick's clearly your anchor point, Kylie. And yes, success. Yes. But also really important for people who do get overwhelmed not to have more than 4 things on a to-do list.
Why is that, Ash?
So because your subconscious mind can take about 3 or 4 things in memory. So even if I was doing a session with you and I said, what do you not like to feel every day in business? And you might go overwhelmed, letting people down, getting told no, or fear of failure, right? Like you sprouted those out really fast. But underneath that, it's harder to get more than 4 out, because they're the deeper feelings you don't really want to go to. And so it's the same with your to-do list and something more practical. Your mind can go, yeah, I can get 3 or 4 things done. Whereas if you've got 10, even if you ticked off 1, 2, and 3, but you had 7 left, you wouldn't feel as accomplished that day. Then just say you had 4, but you got your 3 things done and there was only 1 left, you'd be like, oh, I got 3 out of 4 done. So it's much more.
I love it. So I'm from next week then, this one is going to only have 3 or 4 per segment because my big giant task list is actually in my calendar. And there could be 20 or 30 in there at any one time. But if the other one is my daily, then that's more manageable.
Look, if you get things done, amazing, but it also, to some people, they can be detrimental because it's like, it's too much to do, I'm just going to pretend it's not there.
Yeah.
So that's where it honestly depends on the individual, but it is helpful only to have 3 or 4 to those that are easily overwhelmed or just give up if they're not going to get them all done, because you still want to be making progress, because it's progress that equals happiness.
Yes, it sure is. I love that. One thing that I do, whether it's in my group coaching or in a masterclass or anywhere, is give people just one challenge. So they might have learned a lot in a workshop or something, but then I want you to go away and do this one challenge, because you learn so much. Where do you even start? But one challenge feels doable.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They're good. And it makes them also realise how much they've learned and then what they're learning in that challenge.
Absolutely. Well, that's some awesome tips about how we can get through the next few weeks and start preparing for a holiday. We're going to talk hopefully next week with Jenny about what we're going to do with needing that break so that we can reset for next year. Now, I did read something on socials over the weekend and about someone who'd taken herself camping for 2 days completely alone, set up with their computer, not camping for a holiday, camping for a mindset change or just a complete change of scenery so that they could plan out what next year was going to look like. And I thought that's such a wonderful idea. And I've done it from time to time, but never as a regular, that date's booked in and making it happen. Do you think that's a really great one, Ash?
Amazing. If you can do that and, you are able to have that time and that space, then your thought processing would be open to possibilities, not constrictions, because you're in that space of vastness and expansion. Yes. And breath again and fresh. So it's only inviting creativity and curiosity in, where you're questioning imagine if rather than being constricted by but what if.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much. There's so many wonderful ideas there about how we can get through the next few weeks, but also start thinking about what we could do to make changes so that we can invite new ideas in and creativity in for next year. So thanks so much for joining me, Ash. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Bite Size Business Live Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us so you don't miss any future episodes. And Ash, let everybody know, how can they get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook, Ash the Happy Coach, and the Happy Therapist Australia on Instagram, and thehappytherapist.com.au online. Awesome.
Well, it was so great to chat with you, and I look forward to catching up again very soon to talk about goal setting for next year.
Ooh, thanks so much,
everybody.
For having me.
Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.